fan because I called his coming out fight against Bradis Prescott.
He's
and
special.
then various other stepping stones throughout his career.
I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1,000%. Absolutely right.
I also think Canelo is slowing down.
I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
You know, becoming the first undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era in 3 different weight classes. Really, and the way he did it, and you know, the class that he showed.
Joe Rogan gave his take on Terence Crawford's huge win over Canelo Alvarez, saying Crawford always delivers his best when people doubt him. He explained that criticism only motivates Crawford to prove everyone wrong. Rogan praised his smooth technique and sharp punches that stood out on such a big stage, calling the victory proof that Crawford is one of the most skilled boxers today. Bont Hill also tweeted that he now believes Crawford could beat any version of Floyd Mayweather, a bold claim that shows how powerful this performance was. Defeating Canelo has lifted Crawford's legacy to another level, with many now thinking he might even surpass Mayweather's unbeaten record. His success across multiple weight classes and his ability to adapt in the ring are major reasons why this view is gaining momentum.
Ready to subscribe totally to that because, again, you're talking about somebody who is stubborn.
And for sure.
Who wants to prove everything he can prove.
100%. I agree with that too. But I think there's like in boxing and certainly in MMA, there's a certain amount of years where a fighter can keep the RPMs up. And, you know, when they're in the red line, and there's some people subscribe to the idea of 9 years. There's 9 years is the most that a elite fighter in MMA has performed at their prime. I think that's a bullshit number because I think it's entirely dependent upon lifestyle, nutrition, discipline, physical attributes. There's a lot of factors.
George Foreman won the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing at age 45.
True, but he took 10 years off.
Yeah.
Commentator Gareth praised Terence Crawford for delivering one of the greatest performances in boxing history. He pointed out that Crawford not only jumped 3 weight classes to fight Canelo but also did it at an older age and after more than a year away from the ring. Despite those obstacles, Crawford displayed rare skill, control, and confidence. Gareth said fans should recognize this as a special moment of greatness, proving Crawford can rise above any challenge. At the same time, Shakur Stevenson posted on X giving Canelo credit for always taking on the toughest opponents. He noted that many fighters avoid dangerous matchups, but Canelo has consistently faced them. Stevenson's message showed that true greatness is about more than wins, it is also about the willingness to take real risks in the ring.
Coach of the week, we said that this is a game of IQ. There's going to be movement within the fight. You're going to have to answer different types of questions and bring different types of game plan. Crawford did that. He was able to do it backwards, he was able to do it forwards, he could trade in the pocket, catch the stuff, and then counter. He was absolutely magnificent. Listen, I know this is raw and we've only just walked out the stadium, right?
10 minutes ago.
And when the dust settles on this, we'll probably have better answers and better thought processes. And I'm sure people watching this will get stuck into the comments and maybe say what I'm about to say is quite outlandish. That might be the single best performance that I have ever witnessed live. It was absolutely tremendous. You've got to take into consideration the weight jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154, but let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound-for-pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas and managed to beat him on the cards when the judges tried to do him, mate, it is out of this world what Terence Crawford just did. And he needs all the flowers in the world, he needs all the praise in the world, and I don't think you're wrong, mate, by saying he's the pound-for-pound #1. It's an ever-moving list. That performance alone deserves to put him right at the top of the chart.
Yeah, he's become... There's an argument that he becomes an all-time great with that performance, like you say, because the majesty, the poise, the presence all week, the pinpoint accuracy of everything he did in there, to the fact that in the end Canelo was frustrated and knew he couldn't do anything to Crawford, and he started...
Visibly frustrated, wasn't it?
No, visibly frustrated, that he started to do a weird kind of showboating because he didn't have any answers for what was happening and unfolding in front of him. I think Terence Crawford has rubber-stamped himself as an all-time great tonight, and I want to revise a view on him. I wondered whether he would have been capable of beating Floyd Mayweather at welterweight.
Oh, you're going for it now, aren't you?
And I think, yeah, we got to. I think he may well have done.
Pauli Malignaggi pointed out that Terence Crawford achieved something truly historic. Becoming undisputed in 4 weight divisions is rare on its own, but doing it by defeating Canelo made the feat even greater. Malignaggi compared Crawford's command in the ring to Floyd Mayweather's dominance in his prime and said this fight signals the start of Crawford's era. He stressed that this was more than just a big win, it was a turning point in the sport, with Crawford now viewed as the leading figure of his generation.
Had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special. It's one of those things now, because now I've now seen back-to-back generations of Floyd Mayweather and Bud Crawford, and man, you know, it's one of those things where now I understand why the people that lived in the Ray Leonard era say, you know, oh, wish we could see Ray Leonard against Mayweather, and how that would be. Because it just leaves such an empty feeling when you have such special fighters that were in different generations, and you saw both of them. You know, I saw the entirety of the Mayweather generation. I saw the entirety of the Bud Crawford generation. Just incredible. Really, really incredible. And I know Mayweather gets a lot of hate, but for me, he's a tremendous, tremendous fighter. And Terence Bud Crawford is in that realm as well. And it's a fight we'll never get to see. So what are we going to do, you know? It'll be up to the fantasy fights, you know. But let's get into it, man. I want to get into the undercard as well and some of my thoughts on the Netflix show. But let's get into the main event first. Crawford really boxed very, very well, very, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved.
Devin Haney's reaction showed just how one-sided Crawford's performance was. He said Canelo didn't win more than 3 or 4 rounds at best, making it clear how dominant Crawford appeared. Haney's words went beyond simple opinion as they reflected how even top rising champions no longer see Canelo as the unstoppable fighter he once was. His take highlighted how much Crawford's victory has changed the way both men are now viewed.
Devin. I was just wondering, I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
Get away from this
Maybe.
fucking crowd.
Are you shocked or not?
Hey, right here to my left.
Are you shocked or not?
No, I'm not shocked. I knew that if you kind of fight.
A fan tweeted after the fight saying true competitors are all champions and there is no loss in the pursuit of real glory, thanking and congratulating both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez while calling it a night where the warrior spirit won. The message showed respect for both men and highlighted that greatness comes from heart, courage and dedication, not just victory. Bill Haney also reacted saying Crawford's win over Canelo looked even easier than his dominant showing against Errol Spence. He said he expected this outcome, pointing to Crawford's growing greatness, and stressed that making such a tough fight look smooth proves how he continues to handle elite opponents with more ease every time.
Exactly. And you guys knew what was going to happen. You were in denial. That shit looked easier than Errol Spence. Did look, huh?
It's a brilliant performance. Brilliant performance.
Man. Shout out to Team Crawford, Bo Mack and that whole team, man. You know what I mean?
Where'd you rank him all-time list after that?
I mean, put his face on Mount Rushmore. You know what I'm saying? He deserves his place, for sure.
Did you score it, Bill?
Yeah, I scored it a lot for Crawford and a very little for Canelo, if any. I don't know.
116, 112?
I don't know. I mean, I could pick one or two. I could pick one or two in there or something like that.
I know it's straight after the fight. But do you want to see Crawford go out on that, or do you think there'll be a rematch?
No, I don't hear a bunch of partying going on. I listen. It sounds like a funeral home in Allegiant Stadium. Did Crawford win? It sounds like it's a funeral home. Look, you see over there. You see it's quiet. It's quiet as shit. Yeah. Is it a holiday or what? Oh my God! Oh my God! Listen, that's a Crawford fan. He's Mexican. Now, listen. Hey, y'all know what's up. Crawford did it, and only person that's talking is me. November 22nd. If you don't want to hear nothing else, Crawford is great. November 22nd.
A fan tweeted that Crawford is older than Canelo yet still beat him fair and square with no catch weight, and after moving up 3 weight classes, saying there are no excuses. The reaction captured how meaningful the win was, showing that despite the age and size gap, Crawford proved he was the better fighter. The victory left no room for doubt, making it one of the sport's defining moments. Analysts agreed the fight was about more than belts, it was about legacy. The story was simple: the winner would be seen as the best of this era. Crawford backed that up by shutting down Canelo's strengths and using his full skill set. Now the question is no longer if Crawford belongs among the all-time greats, but how high he ranks in boxing history.
No, you don't. If you're actually a man who was willing to, challenge himself and not a little boy who's afraid, then yeah, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And Terence Crawford did it, and he did it damn well. Credit to Terence Crawford. Absolutely. Honestly, I'm still... Because for me, although I was picking Canelo Alvarez to win this fight, and although I've been a fan of Canelo Alvarez for many, many years, he was one of the main guys who got me into boxing. I have loved Terence Crawford, loved watching him fight for years and years and years. I remember staying up at the time, and I actually made sure to get the HBO feed to get his fight with Victor Postal. And I remember, it wasn't one of his more entertaining fights, but I remember just being just in awe of the skill and ability of Terence Crawford at the time. I remember Bob Arum, they're both run by Top Rank, when people were saying, oh, could Loma fight Terence Crawford? And Bob Arum said that would be suicide. It would have been suicide. Could you imagine? Good Lord. I can't put into words how happy I am to be proven wrong, because I love watching Terence Crawford. I think he is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's really fitting, right? And I love Canelo Alvarez, right? But it's really fitting that at the top of boxing, we have two of the most honest champions, honest men you could ever see, you could ever imagine. And that being Alexander Usyk and Terence Crawford, two friends. And I think they really sum up this era of boxing. If we are coming to the end of it as a whole, I think they really sum it up that if you're dedicated to your profession and you're willing to stay disciplined.
Joe Rogan reacted passionately after the fight, saying Crawford clearly showed he is the better boxer than Canelo. He explained that Crawford is not only a sharp puncher but also has the mindset and adaptability of a wrestler, which makes him even more dangerous in the ring. Rogan praised him for moving up in weight and still dominating such a tough opponent, calling it a huge accomplishment. He even compared it to some of boxing's biggest historic moments, saying Crawford achieved something greater than what Marvin Hagler ever did. For Rogan, this victory secured Crawford's place among the all-time greats, delivered with near-perfect execution.
Yeah, he's really fucking good.
But I just think Crawford is, it's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47. Right,
now
so it goes to 54, and now
68?
he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terence is, I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was my favorite.
A fan tweeted that Jake Paul mocked Canelo Alvarez after his loss to Terence Crawford, showing how Paul used the moment to take a shot at his rival and keep their feud in the spotlight by going after one of boxing's biggest names. On a more serious note, Roy Jones Jr., one of the sport's all-time greats, said Crawford had reached a whole new level of greatness. He called him special and made it clear that no one in this era can match him after such a performance. Coming from a legend like Roy, the praise carried real weight, confirming that Crawford's win was not just huge but a career-defining moment that elevated his place in boxing history.
I swear, kind of like they had it. It was a very close fight coming down to the last 2 rounds, but Bud put him out. And he fought very smart. He let Canelo wear himself down early, and then he started fighting late. It was very smart.
Not many people gave Bud a chance, but he dominated in there tonight. Do you see anyone from this era beating Terence Crawford?
No, nobody gonna beat him. Nobody gonna beat him.
What makes him so special?
The fact that he fought on both sides and he's a winner at heart. His heart is everything.
But the scorecard's right. 2 judges gave it to him by 1 round.
Yeah, it was close to a fight. It all depends on what you like. Well, if you like Canelo's aggression, he gave the Bud by like 1 or 2 rounds. But if you like boxing, Bud won by a few more rounds.
What should both guys do next?
What?
What should both guys do next?
I mean, Canelo probably got to go back and decide what he wants to do. Bud, if I were Bud, I would just retire. Who gonna talk what he...
Jayo Pataya said he wasn't surprised by Crawford's victory, explaining that he already knew Crawford had the talent and determination to get it done. For him, Crawford's combination of skill and strong will made the outcome feel almost certain. His comments reflected how other fighters recognized the depth of Crawford's drive, showing that his mental toughness was just as key as his physical ability.
On points, bro, crazy.
How did you have it?
I had him up, bro, convincingly.
Is he awesome number one draft?
Hey, science of the sport. This guy adapts. I knew it.
How did you know he was going to win? Why?
He's got too much ammunition. You know, southpaw, orthodox, on the back foot. That's what changes good from great, is knowing how to adapt. You know, back foot, front foot, that's the difference.
Devin Haney said he wants him to retire after that. Do you agree with that?
Devin Haney's Devin Haney. You know, where is he? You know, what's he doing? So,
what do you think of it? Do you want Crawford to retire or you want him to continue?
You guys push that back a little bit.
Hey, he's doing well. So it's been good. Hey, what a performance.
Johnny Fisher's reaction matched what many fans were thinking. He questioned why anyone would even bring up retirement for Crawford after such a brilliant performance. Calling the fight a generational classic, Fisher said Crawford still has a lot left to offer. His comments resonated with those who felt they were witnessing history and don't want it to end anytime soon. Rather than talk about retirement, Fisher put the spotlight on how much more Crawford can still achieve.
Etched himself in boxing history right now, and to go up to them 2 weight divisions, unbelievable to do it. Someone like Canelo. I've never seen Canelo have that body language at the end of a fight where he's shaking his head. So credit to both men.
Would you like to see Canelo retire now?
Yeah, of course. I think Abdul Shiraz is knocking on the door to fight Canelo.
You don't think he should retire now, Canelo?
No. He's up to him. That's his own personal discretion. He's making millions and millions of dollars, and he'll continue to make millions of dollars. He's not been destroyed. He's not concussed. He's just Big John shouting out some of the yeah, it's all about himself. That man.
Devin Haney said he wants to see Terence Crawford retire now. Do you agree?
All the people are saying retire. Why are we trying to retire these great fighters before their time? If they're enjoying it and they're fit to do it, let them continue. Why are we trying to get rid of them? We need them.
A fan tweeted that even with losses to Mayweather and Crawford, Canelo remains one of the best, showing respect for his legacy and recognizing his greatness despite setbacks. At the same time, Crawford's rise through multiple weight classes stands out as one of boxing's most remarkable stories. Starting at 135 pounds, he went on to win titles at 140, 147, and now 168. No fighter has done it quite like him. His ability to climb divisions while keeping his speed, accuracy, and power shows just how versatile he is. That alone secures his place in boxing history, proving he's not only dominant in one division but across several.
Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision. Terence Crawford does the impossible by becoming the first boxer in history to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes, 140, 147, and 168 pounds. He started out as a 135-pound champion and made it all the way up to 168 pounds, beating the undisputed champion Canelo Alvarez, who's one of the greatest fighters of our generation. Tonight, Terence Crawford looked stronger, looked faster, he looked like he had higher IQ. He was just dominant the whole fight. His natural counterpunching instincts and just fight awareness, fight IQ, he did everything perfect. Like I predicted, Terence Crawford was going to give him problems and Canelo was going to get frustrated, but I didn't think it was going to be that dominant. Every time Canelo threw one punch, Terence Crawford hit him with 3, 4, 5 blistering hard shots. Terence Crawford will go down as one of the top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the history of.
Crawford's fight with Canelo will be remembered as a true masterclass. He dismantled a fighter known for strength, timing, and toughness with surprising ease. Round after round, he displayed smarter tactics, sharp adjustments, and pinpoint shots. In the end, it wasn't about power but about superior skill. Crawford proved he was operating on a completely different level, making this performance the clearest evidence yet of his greatness.
Jermell Charlo's in negotiations for early 2026. So the first fight announced is Lamont Roach versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz in December 2025. Roach, he obviously deserved the Tank rematch, but Tank instead he's taking the Jake Paul fight. So Roach, he's gonna stay active and take on Cruz. And who knows, the winner of this fight, it probably should get Tank next. Next fight, Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo is being negotiated for early 2026. All the details are still being finalized, but both guys making their return after 2.5 years. Charlo since losing to Canelo, Spence since losing to Crawford, and this is a great rebound test for both guys. Next fight, Naoya Inoue versus Alan Picasso for December 27th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Inoue making his Saudi debut. and that'll be his 4th undisputed fight this year. Obviously, he's got to get past Muradjan Akhmadaliev this Sunday, but if he can get past Akhmadaliev, it sets up the Picasso fight in December. Also on the co-main event of the Naoya Inoue card in December will be Junto Nakatani. He'll be making his 122-pound debut against a top contender, and the plan is if both guys win their fights in December, they'll fight next May in Japan for undisputed.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for the next one.